Hello everyone, I'm Richard Gon of Actually podcast version. So this time is about immigration. So if you are immigrant living in some developed countries, so I'd like to recommend you becoming a local citizen of that country, which is what I'm going to talk about. So this is a case of immigration into my country, but so maybe episodes before or months before or days before. Anyway, before this recording, I have talked about an immigration which which occurred or which was done in the early part of 20th century. So that immigration was caused by or triggered by a colonization of Korean Peninsula, which was done by Empire Japan. So this country. I live in Japan, so this country was empire before the end of World War II. So anyway, so maybe in the beginning of the 20th century, so maybe the year was as long as I can remember, the year was 1910. 1910 was the year when Empire Japan conquered or colonized Korean Peninsula, and which is quite a famous event, or which is quite a famous historical event in my country, and of course which was really a famous event in Korean Peninsula or in Republic of Korea. So after which after which Empire Japan began to govern Korean Peninsula. So and at that time many Korean people or many ancestors or many Korean people came to or immigrated into my country, and in this present time, their descendants are alive in my country, and some people have got the nationalities of this country. So, which means the immigrants who came into our country in the beginning of 20th century are first generations, and people, the descendants I can I have met are fourth or fifth or sixth generation, fourth or sixth generation. So third generation people are, for example, grand they are at the same generation or around the generations of my grandparents, maybe stuff like that. So since the picture is stuff like that. So anyway, so what I'd like to tell you with this example or with this case is that those Korean immigrants changed their own family names. So for example, there's a famous family name of Korean people, which is Kim. Kim is Kim has a, or maybe not almost all the family names have corresponding Chinese characters in in Korean Peninsula or in Korean culture. So for example, Kim has Kim has a Kim has a Chinese character meaning gold. So there's a Chinese character meaning gold. Gold gold is Gold is the gold of gold, silver, and lead. Anyway, so the greatest color of medals in, for example, Olympic. So please imagine that gold. So Kim has a Chinese character meaning gold, and some immigrant whose family name is whose family name had been Kim changed their family names from their original Kim into the family Japanese family names having the same Chinese character. Like, so there are some Japanese family names having the same Chinese characters meaning gold. For example, so Kaneda, or what else should I say? Kanemoto, or anyway. So in the form in these examples of Japanese family names, for example, Canada has in most cases Canada has two Chinese characters. One which means gold, the other which means, how should I say, farm. I don't know I don't know the meaning of the second Chinese character of Canada in English language, but the sense is stuff like that. Gold farm, or gold. Anyway, please imagine gold farm, or so most complicated is Kanemoto. So Kanemoto has the first Chinese character is gold, but the second Chinese character has many meanings. So that Kanemoto motto of Kanemoto is sometimes mean books, sometimes mean book, or essence, or how should I say, essence, and that has all bundles. So bundles used for counting something, which means anyway. So those Korean people, maybe most cases, not all the cases, most cases, those Korean immigrants changed their own family names from their original ones into Japanese one, having the Chinese characters showing their own original family names or original names. So maybe there is another example is another example is this is a maybe this is a famous yakuza person. So let me investigate. Wait a moment, please. Yeah. There's a famous there's a famous yakuza whose Japanese name is Tanigawa Kotaro, but his Korean name is Kan Donghwa. Kan Donghwa is his Korean name, or Kan Donghwa is his original name, because he's a he's a he's a second generation person. He's a second generation person of born to first generation people of Korean people. So he had Mr. Tanigawa, or how should I say? So in this episode, I in this episode I use I use Kandonfa pointing out, or meaning this famous yakuza. So his his original family name is Kang. His original family name was Kang, and this person had already passed away in in the in 20th century. So he is really past person, or he passed away years or decades before. Anyway, so Mr. Kang is a descendant descendant who was born to who was born to who was born to a first generation parents who came from Korean Peninsula. So in this case, Mr. And what is special about him is that his family name was left into his first name. So in his Japanese name is Tanigawa Kotaro. So in this Japanese naming manner, Kotaro is the first name of that famous yakuza, and Kotaro has three Chinese characters, and Ko Ko comes first in his first name, and Ko the Chinese character corresponding with Ko, or his or the foremost part of his first name is the same as his family name. So his family name is Kang, and his first name is Donghua, and Donghua is East Gori, or East God, is to gorgeous or stuff like that. His name is stuff like that. Why is used for why is used for pointing at, or why why me why it's used to describe Ch- Chinese culture anyway. So his in this case, his family name was left in his family name was shifted to his first name. So among three Chinese characters used for his Japanese first name, Kotaro, the, the foremost the foremost Chinese character, or Ko, is the same as his Korean family name, Korean, which is the same as a Chinese character used for his family name, which is what I wanted to tell you. So, like by using this manner, you can you can leave, or you can remain your own origin into your new name. Or for example, if you are I don't know if so if you're even if you are colored people, and if you for example even if you are colored people, you might be from Africa, or you may be from Middle Eastern countries, or you may be from my country, or you may be from other Asian countries like China or Southeast Asian, who and you may now in this present time you may live in, for example, Great Britain, or you may live in Germany, or you may live in France. So in which case I recommend you changing your own family name, if possible. I recommend you changing your own family name or first name into, for example, if you live in Great Britain, so I recommend you changing your name into British names, for example, not John Doe, not John Doe, but for example, so in my name, I use Richard Gong as a name for broadcasting, or using using internet for for doing SNS activities. So in my case, so my name, or my name is Richard Gong. So Richard is fine. So Gong is Asian name. So if I change my name into British one, so for example, how about Go, Goldman, or Gong has that Chinese character. So for example, anything is fine. So like Goldman, or begin in my case beginning with G might be fine. For I can come up with some British family names. So how should I say? So for another example is Graham, for stuff like that. So like which if it's possible, if you can change your own names into British one, or French one, or German one, I recommend you doing so. So which is what I'd like you to know this time. And by changing your own name, I think you are going to be accepted by other local people as local people. So by changing your own name, so although it's really difficult, well, it's impossible to change your own skin colors. So for example, if you're a black person, it's impossible to change your skin color from black to white. And I don't think it's necessary to change your own skin colors. I don't think it's necessary to change your own skin colors, which is why but it's possible to change your own names. It's possible to change your own name from your original one, or your original one with your own backgrounds, or with your own culture, to to the to the new one, which is a culture which is the culture of the country you immigrated into, or you are going to immigrate into. So by doing which, you can become a local person, or by changing your own names, you can become local people, and and other local people can feel easy to accept you. Also, of course, also you have different skin colors from other local people, but it's a kind of it's a kind of a problem of senses or sensations. of other local people. So I recommend you, which is why I recommend you changing your own names from your original one to the new one. So that's it. Thank you very much for your listening. See you.